provide a update on what we have going on this morning. First things first, it was a very long night last night. Just keep in mind all our firefighters working through this heat. So, new information. Basically, at this point in the investigation, we have shifted to an investigatory phase. National Grid is on scene. They're bringing in some heavy equipment. They have some testing that they need to do before we can get into the building to continue our investigation. We are treating this from a fire department perspective as we would treat any other major scene investigation. It's a very methodical, meticulous process. We sort of leave no stone unturned throughout this investigation, and we're going to do everything we can to determine what caused this to happen. I do have updated information on the victims who were transported from the scene yesterday. For right now, I can provide you with ages and current status at the hospital. I will follow that up after with an email with some more in-depth information. So I can read that off if you guys are good for that right now. So there were two families at the home, a family of 6 and a family of 7. The first family, a 42-year-old male, is in stable condition. A 33-year-old female is in stable condition. A 13-year-old pediatric patient is in stable condition. A 10-year-old pediatric patient, stable condition. A 12-year-old pediatric patient, stable condition. An 8-year-old pediatric patient, stable condition. And a 3-year-old pediatric patient in critically stable condition. The second family that was involved, we have a 34 male who is in stable condition, a 29-year-old female who's in stable condition, a 5-year-old pediatric patient in stable condition, a 4-year-old pediatric patient who was not admitted for further treatment, but they were triaged and treated at the hospital yesterday, a 2-year-old pediatric patient who is in critically stable condition, and a 9-month-old pediatric patient who is in critically stable condition. It's my understanding all of these patients that are still in the hospital are being treated at Upstate, whether it's Upstate University or Golisano Pediatric Hospital. So that's where we are right now. Again, I will have some more information to update, more specifics on names and things like that in a little bit. Again, at this point in the investigation, you can see behind me National Grid's bringing in their heavy equipment. They have some excavating to do, some testing that they have to do on their end. Once that is done, our members will be assisting our investigators to get inside and go through the scene again in a meticulous, methodical manner to try and determine the cause. We are working together with SPD, with National Grid, and a number of other city agencies still on this incident. So that's where we are right now. Turn it over to Mayor Walsh.
Thank you, Chief. Certainly feeling some level of relief right now at the condition of the victims, although very concerned that the 3 critically stable victims are among the 3 youngest victims, 3, 2, and 9 months. So obviously at that age, everything is heightened in terms of concern and risk. Again, very grateful for the quick response of our first responders, the fire department, police department. Also want to thank the neighbors. I've been speaking to a lot of neighbors here, and neighbors were on scene immediately and helping out as best they could. So this really was a team effort, and again, I'm just really proud of our first responders, proud of our community, and again, relieved at the current condition, although not out of the woods yet, still praying.
Did a car into the house? Did the house fall on the car? Is that one of the children in the
rescue yesterday, and the child was conscious and alert when they transferred care to the ambulance. At this point, we don't believe that the car was involved. The working theory is that they were just in the vehicle, sort of in the wrong place at the wrong time. Fortunately, we were able to get them out of the vehicle quickly and to waiting medical care and up to the hospital for treatment.
Yeah, our understanding right now, which is consistent with what we had last night, that a family of 7 lived at this property, which we have listed as a single-family property. Again, we're looking into all that. So a family of 7 who lived in the property, a family of 6 who was visiting the property, who has another home address here in Syracuse.
We're doing everything we can right now to make sure that people can safely return to their homes. The road up here is going to be shut down probably for a significant amount of time today, just so that we can work safely and allow the crews that we're working with to work safely. But everybody understands it's a very hot day. Nobody wants to be stuck outside in this. We're doing everything we can right now to make sure that where possible we can get people back into their homes, but we're doing that safely. Safety is still a paramount concern here.
I realize this is preliminary, but are you saying that you've ruled out for now the car had its causes, the car had crashed?
No, nothing has been ruled out. Based on some of the evidence that we had over there, we're leaning more towards,
You use the term working theory.
Yes.
Working theory being the car was already there, not really
Yes.
a cause.
Yes. The initial toll it takes on responders, we were here for almost 8 hours yesterday in the sweltering heat and humidity. Our members are wearing, 50 to 60 pounds of gear while we're trying to go through all this stuff. And an incident like this, when we go to a fire, we put the fire out and we go home and we don't usually have to worry about it. An incident like this where we're stretching into several days, several operational periods, again, it just takes a toll on our firefighters. Everything is exponentially more difficult when we're dealing with high temperatures. And that's not to say anything of the extremely dangerous situation inside the house. The house, we have done our best to shore it up, but we still have to get people in there. And anytime we're entering a collapsed building where there's the potential to shift, there's a potential for further collapse. It's an extremely dangerous situation for our members.
Is this equipment for kind of an investigation digging, or at some point will the structure begin to disassemble?
Yeah, our intention is to demolish the property as soon as the investigation is completed. So whether or not there will be some deconstruction required as part of the investigation to be determined either way. We're mobilizing our contractor for that right now.
Could that be today?
It could be.
Have you spoken with any of the families, anyone on the site?
I have not.
Is there any footage of the explosion?
Not that I'm aware of.
The 3 youngest children, 3 that are the most injured, do you know the circumstances of their injuries? Were they burns? Were they crushing wounds? Were they mixture?
I don't have that information right now.
And is their age make it harder for them to survive perhaps trauma that an adult would survive? Is that why they're the critically injured ones?
I'm not a doctor. I can't speak to that. All we're going on is the information we get from the hospital, and based on their injuries, those are their conditions.
You know what critically stable means? It means that hopefully they're not moving in a worse direction.
Yeah, I would think that's a good way to put it. They're still in very rough shape, but we are not moving in a worse direction. That's my understanding of it.
The adults were stable. Is there serious stable? Is there any other?
The only information we were given was stable or critically stable.
And are those people able to share their experience of what happened yet with either your public
So our investigators, our fire department investigators and Syracuse police investigators have been working diligently through the incident yesterday, through the day today, to communicate with the victims that are able to communicate, to try and get as much information as we can about what happened. Again, this is a very slow, methodical process. We want to make sure we have as much information as we can to make the determinations that we need to make, and a big part of that is speaking with the people that were involved.
Has it been confirmed that there was some sort of gas leak?
I can't confirm that right now.
The National Grid's here. I mean, is there damage to their utilities? There must be a reason that those don't.
So one of the initial reports yesterday, we had an odor of natural gas on the scene. Anytime we're dealing with stuff like that, from a fire department perspective, we call in National Grid. They are the experts with this. And again, it just goes to ruling out every possibility. You know, if natural gas was involved, they're the people that are going to be able to determine how and what happened and kind of guide us in our investigation related to that.
Andrew, I would just offer as well that in a situation like this where demolition is a likelihood, we're going to bring in National Grid anyways to cut the gas. So given the state of the property last night, it was immediately determined that the gas should be cut regardless of the cause of the explosion. Just want to be clear on that.
Again, we're taking in all the information we can, and the process for a fire incident, our process is to rule things out. So we take all the information we can get and then start methodically ruling out potential causes. So anything environmental, anything going on around the home, that's something we're going to look at, do our best to rule that out as a cause until we settle on something that we can't rule out, and we go from there.
We don't have a leading theory yet.
I'm not part of the investigation team. I can't speak to that. That's National Grid is on scene to check that, yes. I couldn't even speculate on that. We're working with them just to, again, we're very early in the investigation, trying to rule out every possible eventuality that could have led to this, and a huge part of that is them being here to assist.
I would just offer National Grid is doing their own investigation that they would do any time in this situation where they're determining, they're trying to come to a conclusion as to what role, if any, gas played in the situation. Once they conclude that investigation, which is happening right now, they'll share that information with us, which will inform our investigation.
Is there any indication? I know we have Juneteenth, it's Pride Month. Was it a celebration that brought the two families together? Any indication why they were visiting?
Nothing we can confirm.
Okay.
That they were gathering, but no, nothing we can confirm.
And were they renting the house? Is it owned by someone else? Did they own it?
The family that was living there is renting the house.
Okay. Have you been in contact with the owner of the house?
We have.
And what have they said about any explanation?
Part of
the
an
investigation. Okay.
Good.
Thank you, everyone.
Probably will not have another update until at least afternoon, but I will keep everyone informed if we do. And